Once upon a time, in the year 1800, in a quiet village called biot-savart, a strange rumor began spreading. Villagers who sat near a glowing copper wire during festivals claimed they felt a strange breeze in the air, but only near the wire, and only when it carried current from the temple bell to the village lights. What was causing this invisible swirl? Was it a ghost? Was it wind trapped in metal? No one knew. Until one day, a young boy named Viru, the son of a lamp maker, began to chase this mystery. Scientists' history, biot-savart's curious journey. Far away from the village, in France, lived two brilliant minds, Jean-Baptiste Biot and Félix Savart. In 1820, after hearing about Hans Christian Ørsted's discovery that electric current affects a magnetic compass needle, they grew obsessed. What if every wire carries with it an invisible storm? Biot asked. So, the two began to investigate, not just if magnetism happens, but how much, where, and why it happens. And thus, after deep experiments and mathematics, they created a law that described exactly how magnetic fields form around moving charges. That law became known as the biot-savart Law. Biot-savart Law, Magical Ripple Story. One day in village of biot-savart, Viru watched his grandfather stir tea with a spoon. As the spoon moved, little ripples formed in the tea. Suddenly, Viru imagined, what if this spoon was a wire carrying electric current? And these ripples were magnetic fields? His grandfather smiled and said, that's exactly what the biot-savart law tells us. If you take a tiny piece of wire carrying current, it sends out invisible ripples, magnetic fields, in all directions. The closer you are to the wire, the stronger the ripple. And the direction depends on how the wire is placed. Viru's imagination made it clear, a tiny current element acts like a magical ripple maker, spreading magnetic energy around it, just like the spoon in a cup. In simple words, biot-savart law states that a small piece of a current-carrying conductor produces a magnetic field around it, and the strength of that field at a point depends on the current, the length and direction of the wire, the distance from the point, and the angle between them. Derivation: the Brotherhood of the magnetic field. Once upon a time, in the heart of biot-savart, a glowing baby named mu/4pi, mu/4pi, was born under the northern lights, a symbol of universal balance. Though small, he was powerful and wise. As he grew, he gathered 4 magical friends to help him understand and shape the world of invisible forces. Current, I, a bold warrior, always in motion. He carried electric energy through wires and was the heartbeat of every circuit. DL, a tiny but clever wire sprite who lived along the electric path. He guided current through every twist and turn, lighting up villages as he passed. Arhat, a swift and sharp-eyed hawk who always flew from the sprite toward the sky, pointing the direction where the magical force would act. R², a mysterious cloud spirit who believed that the farther the distance, the weaker the influence. No one can escape me, he often whispered. Now, these 5 set off on a journey. Whenever current passed through wire ELF, DL, they sent a signal to Direction Hawk, R, who flapped his wings and marked the location. But their power didn't just shoot straight, it twisted. Thanks to the magic of the cross product, cross, the resulting magnetic force always curled around like a ring, like the swirl of wind around a tree. Together, they wrote this magic rule. dB equals mu/4pi, multiply, I times dl times sinθ, /r². Each term a living force, each interaction a memory. When they combined their powers across the entire wire, they generated the total magnetic field, an unseen force felt by compasses, metals, and minds. Simple memory trick. Imagine a boy standing next to a river of current. He throws a stick, dl, into the wind, our direction. The stick swirls in a circular path. That swirl is the magnetic field. The farther you go, r², the weaker the swirl gets. And the whole process is scaled by a magical constant, mu/4pi. Why it's used? To calculate the magnetic field at any point in space caused by a current-carrying conductor, especially when the wire is bent or shaped in a complicated way, like loops or curves. Where it's used? To find magnetic field in coils and loops, in electromagnets and transformers, in designing MRI machines, electric motors, generators, in physics simulations and magnet design. And that's the story of biot-savart law. When current flows, it creates tiny magnetic circles around it. Just like how every small action can create a big effect. So next time you switch on a light or charge your phone, remember, a silent magnetic dance is happening behind the scenes. Electricity isn't just power. It's a story, a swirl, a law of nature. Keep learning, keep exploring.